The reason your dog truly follows you everywhere is far more layered than love. And buried inside that behavior is at least one signal that almost nobody catches until it's too late. Welcome to Canine Dog Talk. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because on this channel, we go deeper into the way your dog actually thinks than anywhere else on the internet. Now let's talk about what's really happening every time your dog becomes your shadow. Most people assume their dog follows them out of pure affection. And sometimes, yes, that's exactly what it is. But "my dog loves me" is the surface answer. Underneath it, there are at least 6 completely different reasons a dog might follow you. And knowing which one is driving your dog's behavior right now could genuinely change how you care for them.
Because a couple of those reasons, they're not sweet at all. They're warning signs. And the mistake most owners make is treating every single one of them the same way. So let's start at the very beginning with what actually happened inside dogs thousands of years ago that made following a human feel as natural as breathing. Dogs didn't always live next to us. Their ancestors hunted in packs, roaming wide open territory, surviving by staying close to their group. Distance from the pack wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. It meant exposure, vulnerability, potential death. So the instinct to maintain proximity to a trusted group member became hardwired deep into the canine brain over tens of thousands of years. It wasn't a choice, it was survival. Then gradually, something extraordinary happened. Dogs began bonding not just with other dogs but with us. They began to see human beings as their pack. And all those ancient instincts that once kept them close to other wolves, they transferred completely. So when your dog pads after you from room to room, they are running software that was written by thousands of years of evolution. The pull to stay near you is not just emotional. It is biological, ancient, and incredibly deep. But here's where it gets really interesting, and where most owners miss the bigger picture. Scientists actually gave this behavior a name. They call it the secure base effect. Researchers studying canine attachment discovered something remarkable. Dogs behave almost exactly like human toddlers in relation to their caregivers. When a parent is present, a toddler feels confident exploring, playing, even tackling challenging things. Remove the parent and the confidence collapses. Dogs do the same thing with their owners. Studies have shown that dogs will explore new environments, engage with puzzles, and tackle unfamiliar challenges far more willingly when their owner is nearby compared to when they are with a stranger or alone. You aren't just someone your dog loves. In your dog's mind, you are the foundation that makes the whole world feel safe enough to exist in. You are their anchor point. Think about that for a moment. Your dog doesn't just want you around because you feed them or take them for walks. They feel braver, calmer, and more capable of facing life simply because you are there. That's a level of psychological dependence that goes way beyond what most dog owners ever fully appreciate. And now, here's the question I want you to answer in the comments right now, because I genuinely want to know. Does your dog follow you specifically, or do they follow everyone in your household equally? Just drop it below, because the answer actually reveals something about the kind of bond your dog has formed. And I'll explain exactly what I mean by that in just a moment. Here's something that surprises a lot of people. If you live in a household with multiple people, your dog almost certainly has a primary person. Not just a person they like, a person they follow more, stay closer to, and watch more carefully than anyone else. Scientists have confirmed that dogs form what are called individualized attachment bonds, meaning they don't bond equally to all humans in the same way. They choose. And the criteria they use to make that choice are not what you'd expect. It's not necessarily the person who feeds them, though that matters. It's the person who communicates most clearly with them. The person who is consistent, calm, and predictable. Dogs gravitate toward people whose energy and behavior make the world feel readable and stable. A person who moves unpredictably, raises their voice frequently, or sends mixed signals will actually feel less safe to a dog, even if they are incredibly affectionate. So, if your dog follows one family member more than others, that dog is telling you who feels like the safest, most trustworthy presence in their world. That's an enormous compliment and also a serious responsibility. Now, there's another reason dogs follow people that hardly anyone talks about, and it goes right back to those ancient pack instincts. Dogs follow because they are monitoring. In a wild pack, members don't just move together for safety. They watch each other constantly. They track the leader's movements to anticipate what's coming next. What direction are we going? Is something changing? Is there a threat nearby? Your dog is doing a version of this with you every single day. Their entire nervous system is wired to treat your movements as information about what the world is about to do next. You are their news channel, weather forecast, and safety alert system all in one. This is why dogs so often appear the instant you stand up. They weren't sleeping 3 seconds ago, but the moment you tossed or changed, they were on their feet. They're not being clingy. They're being what thousands of years of evolution made them: watchful, ready, and tuned in. Now, here's where things get more complex and more important. Not all following behavior comes from the same place. And this is the part that most owners completely miss, because from the outside, it all looks the same. Dog follows you to the kitchen. Dog follows you upstairs. Dog follows you to the bathroom. Sweet, right? Maybe. But there are different emotional states behind that following, and one of them is not sweet at all. There's a world of difference between a dog who prefers to be near you and a dog who is unable to cope without you. The first one is healthy. The second one is a dog that is quietly suffering. Researchers and veterinarians distinguish between what they call a Velcro dog, a dog who simply loves your company and chooses to be near you, and a dog in the grip of genuine separation anxiety. A Velcro dog is fine. They prefer to be with you, but if you go into another room, they settle. They're not distressed. They're just loyal. A dog with separation anxiety is experiencing something closer to panic. Their nervous system goes into emergency mode the moment you move out of their line of sight. The following isn't a choice. It's a compulsion driven by fear. And when you actually leave, these dogs may pace, whine, bark for extended periods, destroy furniture, lose control of their bladder, or simply shut down entirely. The painful truth is that separation anxiety affects somewhere between 14 and 20% of all dogs. That means roughly 1 in 5 dogs is living with this condition. And many of their owners have no idea, because the suffering only happens when the owner isn't there to see it. Watch for these signs. A dog with separation anxiety will follow you with a certain quality of tension in their body, tight posture, quick anxious movement. Eyes that track you with an urgency that doesn't look relaxed. They may begin showing distress signals before you even leave. Pacing, whining, nudging you insistently, simply because you put your shoes on. They may refuse to eat when you're not there, or only settle once you've been gone long enough that they've exhausted themselves. If any of this sounds familiar, this is worth taking seriously. Not because your dog is badly behaved, but because they need more support than what they're currently getting. But separation anxiety is not the only reason a dog might suddenly start following more than usual. And this next one is the one I really need you to pay attention to. If your dog has always been relatively independent, comfortable hanging out in another room, happy to nap on their own, and then suddenly becomes a shadow who won't let you out of their sight, that is a red flag. Not a behavior issue, a potential medical alarm. Dogs in pain seek comfort from their trusted person. A dog whose hearing is starting to fail will follow more closely, because you have become their navigation system in a world that just got quieter and scarier. A dog whose eyesight is deteriorating will shadow you constantly, because you are now their landmark, the one fixed point in a world that's becoming harder to read. Senior dogs developing cognitive changes, a condition that functions similarly to dementia in humans, often become newly clingy, confused about their surroundings, seeking constant reassurance from the one presence that still feels reliable and familiar. Veterinarians are clear on this point. Any sudden or marked change in following behavior, especially in a dog who didn't do it before, warrants a checkup. What they can do is stay close to you. Now, here's something even more fascinating, and it reframes everything. When researchers studied what happens chemically when dogs and their owners interact, they found something genuinely remarkable. Eye contact between a dog and their person triggers a release of oxytocin in both of them. the same hormone that bonds human mothers to their newborns, the same chemical that creates trust, comfort, and emotional security between people. It fires between you and your dog. What this means is that when your dog follows you and then looks up at you and you look back, something real is happening inside both of you. It's not metaphorical. It's neurological. The bond you have with your dog is registered in your body the same way the deepest human attachments are registered. And your dog is, in a very literal chemical sense, wired to feel safer the closer they are to you. But here's the catch, and this is where the responsibility comes in. Because your dog feels this good being near you, and because proximity to you activates these positive brain chemicals, it is extraordinarily easy to accidentally teach your dog that being apart from you is wrong. Every time you call your dog to follow you into the next room unnecessarily, every time you give them a treat specifically because they came and sat by your feet, every time you pet them when they nudge you just because they couldn't stand to be in a different room, you are reinforcing the following and quietly teaching your dog that distance from you is something to be avoided. Over time, you can accidentally build a dog who has never learned that being alone is okay. This doesn't mean stop showing affection. It means be intentional. The healthiest dog is one who loves being with you but does not panic when you're not there. A dog who can settle on their bed while you're in another room. A dog who watches you leave with calm eyes rather than frantic ones. That kind of independence doesn't happen by accident. It needs to be quietly and gently taught. And the good news is, it absolutely can be. Start small. Practice having your dog stay in one spot while you move just a few steps away. Build up gradually. Reward them for calm, settled behavior, not just for being near you. Give them something engaging when you leave. A puzzle toy, something to chew, something that makes alone time feel less like absence and more like an opportunity. The goal isn't distance. The goal is a dog who knows that you always come back and who has learned to trust that enough to relax in the meantime. Because here's the truth underneath all of this. Your dog follows you because in their entire emotional world you are everything. You are safety, comfort, food, adventure, and the signal that everything is okay. That's not something to take lightly. It's something remarkable. A creature who has the capacity to track your every movement, read your every shift in mood, and decide that you, specifically you, are worth following to every single room in the house for their entire life. Most of us go to work, come home, change the channel, scroll through our phone, and barely notice our dog trailing along behind us. We call it cute. We call it clingy. We take it for granted. But your dog is not taking it for granted. Every single time they get up and follow you, they are making a choice based on a bond that science has confirmed is one of the most extraordinary relationships on the face of the earth. They are saying in the only way they know how that you are their world. The least we can do is understand what that actually means and make sure the world we're giving them back is one worth following us into. If this video made you think differently about your dog, share it with another dog owner who needs to hear it. And if your dog is a total shadow who never lets you out of your sight, tell me about them in the comments. I'd love hearing your stories, and I'll see you in the next one.